Alright, so today we'll be talking about solving systems by graphing. And systems of equations are two or more equations with two or more variables to solve. So basically, let's take a look at an example of one. 2x minus 3y equals 8, and 3x minus 5y equals 10. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this system and you're going to be able to actually graph both of these, and you're going to be able to turn them into some really nice things. Okay, so what we're going to be aiming for today is turning this into equations for lines. And so for that first one, it's going to be y equals 2/3 x minus 8/3 is what we would graph. And then on the bottom we would have y equals 3/5 x minus 2. And then we would graph those both. And now what happens when we graph both of those? Okay, let's go. Oh shoot, let's just go line. Okay, so what happens when we graph both of those is on the coordinate plane, and I'm not even going to be totally accurate about what kind of graph we're going to be getting. Let's make them red. Okay, so let's say that the first one is right here and the second one is right there. Okay, what we're going to be aiming for, and once again, I'm not, okay, this right here is going to be our answer, and it's going to be given to us in the form of an XY answer. Okay. Alright, so that intersection is going to be an x and a y, which also happens to be the answer for the system of equations of what x equals and y equals this as well. Okay? Now let's get that back. Oh, come on. There we go. So you at least understand. So the whole point is we're going to be taking a system of equations, we're going to be turning them into y equals mx plus b form, and then we're going to take that intersection that they get, and that x and y is going to be our answer, and that's how you solve systems of equations, okay? Alright. Let me get rid of this real fast. Boom. There we go. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at that one. What was it? Y equals 2/3 x. Now, here's the thing. When you're typing it in Desmos, make sure your cursor is right to the right of the sign, because as you can see, when I typed in x, I got something funky. The only thing you should be graphing is x's, or lines. 2x minus 8/3. So this is nice. Okay? And then y equals 3/5 x. Oops, once again I forgot that. So x minus 2. Okay, now as you can see, these lines are getting closer and closer, and then they intersect right here at 10 and 4. So my answers are x equals 10 and y equals 4. Okay. Alright, so you can write it in that form, or you can actually write it in this form, which would be 10 comma 4. You know, but I highly recommend not to write it in that form. Just understand what the x is and what the y is. Okay, so now with you guys graphing, you can graph this real fast to actually get the answer. Now, sometimes, is this always going to be nice and neat? No, not exactly. Let's make this a 4. Okay, now as you can see, if I made it a 4, it's going to be something completely different. Now it's going to get to be something a little bit messier than usual. So my answer is no longer x equals 10, it's going to be x equals -6 and 2/3. Okay, now my y is going to be nice and neat. It's actually -6, so I don't have to do too much with that. But you do have to understand what these decimals are going to be. And if it's an even messier decimal, graphing may not be the best solution for that system, okay? Alright, but the majority of the questions you're going to be given in this section are going to be able to be solved by graphing, and it should be really easy to work with, okay? Alright, that's it for solving systems by graphing. sorry, real fast. Some of you guys might be asking yourself, hey, what if we had 3 equations? Because you said solving systems of equations are 2 or more equations, 2 or more variables. If you had to do 3 equations, you would have to graph in 3 dimensions. Okay, and that one's a little bit harder to do, but there's some methods to actually work with that. But you won't learn that till Algebra 2. Right now in Algebra 1, just worry about graphing 2 equations, making sure they're in slope-intercept form, and then graphing them and see where their intersection is. Okay, that's it for solving systems by graphing. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.